OBJ. That's strangely close to Daniel Jones from the Giants. Daniel, is that you? Beat the Chiefs. Show me. If the Broncos and Russell Wilson can show me that they can beat the Chiefs, then I will start believing.
And the crowd up. And so are this defense, and Kansas City won't snap the ball again. The Denver Broncos have beaten the Kansas City Chiefs.
David Montgomery on the Lions. Former Bear, gonna make this his revenge game for sure. David Montgomery gets the touchdown that ices the game. No! And there's a flag. There's flags. There's flags. There's flags. There's flags. Snap. Hold. Kick.
Denver wins! Denver wins! Let's go!
They open. No!
What happened? Oh shit.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Only Football Tonight. We're going to be going over the NFL Divisional Round playoffs played Saturday and Sunday. Kyle and I are giving you all our predictions for all four games. We're going to start off, of course, though, with John Harbaugh becoming the next head coach of the New York Giants. Kyle and I are going to have a quick discussion about that to start the show off. And of course, we're going to have the chives with Kyle. Oh, let's get it. America is football. Football is America.
Football is America. If you don't like it, you can kiss your candy ass for the moment in time. I don't give a damn. Oh my God!
No!
You love it.
30 to 27. Chiefs win. Chiefs win 30 to 20. Woo!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Only Football Podcast. I'm Kyle and that's Rick.
That's Kyle.
And today, well, before we get really into the playoff stuff, which you and I are two of the final 8 teams. So It just feels good to be here. You know?
Oh, yeah.
We've gone through a lot of dark times here. This is the first time we've both been in the divisional round, and it's my first time in the divisional round since we started.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's yours too.
It is.
Round, yeah.
Yep.
So lot to be excited about, but we're going to start with Harbaugh because John Harbaugh, you know, a lot of times when somebody as big as John Harbaugh steps away from an organization, especially, you got to think how long he was with the Ravens.
Yeah.
Typically, you get like what Sean did, where you kind of take a step away and maybe you get into the media, maybe you just, you know, stay at your lake house for the year and reset. And if you are going to come back, typically everybody would want to interview, you know, with you, and there would be certain destinations that haven't even fired a coach, but they're calling you saying, if we did, would you, you know, type of stuff.
Oh yeah.
Not in this case. None of those things happened. John Harbaugh just agreed to be the Giants coach, like out of nowhere.
Yep.
And I don't know, like part of me was like, that makes sense. Even if it is unorthodox, like it makes sense that the Giants would want Harbaugh. And with the Giants and their defense, and I thought Jackson Dart looked really promising, and Scatabo, and remember they were doing all this without Malik Neighbors. Like I felt like the Giants were kind of like a really good coach and one more draft away from being a playoff team.
Yeah.
And I think they are now. Like, I think the Giants realistically should expect to be in the postseason next year.
I think I agree that with this coaching hire, with Harbaugh being there, it is like just an elevation to what you're saying, to playoff status. And the only reason why I'm just a little bit like, like, damn, I feel like this wasn't the greatest hire is because Harbaugh's a defensive guy. We know that. And there's been times with the Ravens where, he's got a Lamar Jackson, he had a Derrick Henry, he had a really nice 3-headed running back monster prior to getting Henry, and we've seen him falter. But to me, the biggest thing, and kind of what you've been talking about, I feel like since we've started the show, is the fact that the Giants have a damn good quarterback in Jackson Dart, who really showed out his rookie year. They've got Cam Scatterbo at running back, who made a ton of really good plays. They've got a wide receiving core that has some speed. They've got some skill there. Obviously with Malik Neighbors, although he's been injured his first 2 seasons in the league, which is unfortunate. I feel like they should have gone out to get an offensive guy. I know there really isn't going to be anyone out there this cycle that is super exciting, jumps off the page, Liam Cohen, even the Vrabel, Ben Johnson type of coaching candidates, or even when you go back to McVay and Shanahan and all that. But I don't know, man. I like Harbaugh, and he was solid for the Ravens. He won a Super Bowl with them. But I really do start leaning towards keeping that offensive head coach with a young quarterback, a promising young quarterback in Jackson Dart for that matter, and making sure that he has got a steady and consistent offensive mind and offensive play caller at head coach, because we see it all over the league now. For example, the Bears with Ben Johnson, he's our head coach. We don't have to worry about somebody poaching our offensive coordinator. Liam Cohen with the Jaguars, they don't have to worry about their offensive coordinator being taken from another team. The same with McVay, the same with Shanahan, with a lot of these very, very successful coaches. And while I said at the very top, I do really like that they got Harbaugh because he is a winner and he is consistent. He goes to the playoffs and he's a really good head football coach. I just feel like with Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo and Malik Neighbors, they should have gone the offensive route. And while they did do that with what's his face, I forget the last head coach, the one they just fired, Dable, and he didn't really work out, I feel like they should have continued the trend.
Yeah, and actually, a lot of people don't realize how close like the Commanders and the Ravens really are to each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I was there, I didn't realize like, oh, okay. So it's like, if you're in this area code, like you're a Ravens fan, and if you're just like one more over your Commanders.
Mm-hmm.
And so Von Miller on his podcast yesterday, he signed with the Commanders, but he works out at the same gym as Derrick Henry. And
okay.
He, the news came out and he asked like Derrick Henry, like, are you like, surprised about it? And he was like, I had no clue like they were going to do this. Like, wow. It was like totally shocking. Yeah. And I don't know. Like sometimes I feel like you fire a guy for the sake of like, we need change.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
But there's like a part of me that feels like, okay, but can we know like what that change is before we just like assume that it's better? Because this is the thing about like regime changes in the NFL. The Ravens had an opportunity to do this 2 years ago with Mike McDaniel. Mm-hmm. And instead he goes to the Seahawks and, look at them now. And now they don't really have like a Mike McDaniel legendary type coach that's like ready to take the throne. Mm-hmm. And you're just getting rid of him because you feel like it's time. Well, I just, part of me just thinks it's a bad idea, because when you look at like what's happened, if you've seen that picture where it's like the field goal was to the left or to the right, and it's like Tomlin gets fired. If it goes to the upright, Harbaugh gets fired.
Yeah.
Or I guess it was the opposite of that because the Ravens were kicking the game winner, but you get it. Like you're basically firing him because of the missed field goal. And it's like, well, it's not just that. Like this game, it came down to week 18. It shouldn't come down to week 18. And it's like Lamar Jackson has been ass all year. Like the entire year, he's been unavailable, not healthy, not practicing until Thursday, just so he's like legally eligible to play and not himself. And I just think of all years to fire Harbaugh, this was the weirdest one to do it.
It was definitely a weird one for sure, with like the injuries, the not playing, the using Snoop Huntley as a quarterback and somehow winning games even with him. It was a weird
Cooper
one.
Rush, I think, or
yeah. Oh, that's right. Cooper Rush did play a couple games. I forgot
yeah,
about that.
they. I mean, it was just like, it was just so strange to me that this was like, oh no, this is the year that we have to get. It doesn't matter who we're replacing you with. There's no way they could be worse. And it's like, okay. I mean, is it that bad in Baltimore right now? I mean, what do you guys like? This is your first year missing the playoffs in how long? And
Yeah.
you know, you're ready to throw that away to jump on the uncertainty train. Well, strap in, because next thing you know, 10 years goes by and you're sitting there going, maybe we shouldn't have fired Mike Shanahan just because he had been there for a long time. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
So regardless, I think for the Giants, this is their best hire, since maybe Tom Coughlin.
Yeah.
It's been a while since they've had somebody over there that you're like, I feel really good about, like, because, whatever your opinion is on John Harbaugh, it's kind of like quarterbacks where people say, yeah, Josh Allen's pretty good, Drew Brees pretty good, Aaron Rodgers pretty good, but like they don't really win the big game. And the ones that have done it, they've only won once, and it's like, yeah, but there's only like a couple guys that have won more than one Super Bowl at the quarterback position. So it's like, okay, Mahomes isn't available. So, what we got to work with what else we have. Like, we can't just like say no to Josh Allen because, he hasn't won a Super Bowl yet, because Mahomes is the standard.
Yeah.
We get it. Like, that's the standard, but we just need a guy that gives us a real opportunity to get there. And they said the same thing about Sean. Is like, yeah, I mean, he's really good at winning games, but he's only got one Super Bowl ring. And they kind of take out of context, like, okay, there was the thing in the Minneapolis Miracle, and then there was the bad pass interference in the Rams NFC. And it's like, okay, so yeah, I mean, he's only won one, but there's been circumstances that have kind of made it so he couldn't get there that maybe are outside of his control. And I would say the same with Harbaugh. There's the drop 2-point conversion last year.
Mark Andrews. Yeah.
So there's been like things that have populated. So it's easy to be like, yeah, he just hasn't really done much, but it's like there's only a handful of coaches that can guarantee you the postseason every year. And I don't know like who these other coaches are that you're seeking that are going to like guarantee you Super Bowls every year. I just don't think they exist.
And that's why like the biggest part of me really does like this hiring, because like you said, it's the most exciting one since Coughlin for the Giants, and even more exciting just the fact that they're signing him, even more exciting than Dable's first year with Daniel Jones, where we thought he's unlocked him, he's running him, he's throwing passes. They got Malik Neighbors, last year they drafted him, but obviously he's going through his injuries, but they thought, okay, with Dable as a play caller, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, it's going to be awesome. Like, this is even more exciting than that. Like, Harbaugh does bring that sort of stability to a team. And like Harbaugh, that whole entire Harbaugh family, like even Jim Harbaugh, there was an interview with him where he's like, my plan was to play football and then to coach football and then die. And I feel like John Harbaugh is like the same way, because this is the Harbaugh family, man. Like they have football running through their blood. You talk about the Mannings, you talk about the Harbaughs. These are football families where their like entire lives have been dedicated around football. And I don't think John is any different. And you're right, moving to the NFC, where like I feel like was not necessarily because I feel like the NFC, at least right now in this year, is you've seen the playoffs and what it took to get to the playoffs. I mean, 11 wins for the Bears, did it for the 2nd seed. But that's almost kind of like the minimum, right? Like wild cards, yeah, were 9 wins, but it's a very competitive conference. And I feel like Harbaugh's coming into it with the Giants and being like, well, shit, this is like the AFC for most of my career while I was at the Ravens, and you said it too. There were circumstances for him where, yes, he only won 1 Super Bowl, but similar to what Josh Allen is going through or has gone through in the playoffs, there was always Mahomes there. There was always Tom Brady there. Like you have these guys who are mainstays in the AFC conference that are just difficult, Goliaths, if you will, to get past. And, few Davids have gotten through, Joe Burrow being one of them, the Eagles last year being another one. Like it was a tough time for him to get through that with what he had. And don't get me wrong, he did have a lot of great offensive weapons and like a great team. But sometimes, like you say, circumstance just judges whether you're going to win another one or not. And in this case, it didn't. And now he's with the Giants. Like I said at the very beginning, he's got a lot of good young pieces, and especially on that defensive side of the ball where he is a god. Like he is going to love Brian Burns. He is going to love was the guy from Penn State, Abdul Carter, that they just drafted. Like he's going to love being able to have those guys and being able to construct a defensive scheme around those guys, as well as the offensive guys with Jackson Dart and Cam Scatterbo. Now, the biggest thing, obviously, too, for him would be who's going to be his coaching staff. Because, I mean, we saw with Jim Harbaugh over the last 2 seasons, it was Greg Roman. He fired him after this year because his performances in playoff games has been pitiful. So it's going to be very important for a guy like John Harbaugh, who's a very defensive-minded guy, to see who he picks as coaching staff on the offensive side.
Yeah, next thing you know, you're starting quarterback. You're starting your 9th quarterback in 8 years, and your head coach is Vance Joseph. Hey, man, Vance Joseph just, did a bunch of head coaching interviews. Our quarterback coach, Davis Mills, he did a couple head coaching jobs as well.
Davis Mills is the quarterback.
Yeah, quarterback coach.
No, Davis Mills is the quarterback for the Titans.
Or Davis Webb.
Yeah. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, dude, Davis Webb. Making the leap. He's making the leap. I was shocked.
Even while still on an active roster, he's taking interviews.
Amazing story there. But no, like this offseason, and every year we've said, like, this is going to be the weirdest offseason. This one is actually probably going to take the cake on that, because like we got a quarter of the league without a head coach, and it's not so much the vacancies. Like honestly, like some of the vacancies I get, but most of them I don't. Like Kevin Stefanski, how many times has he won Coach of the Year?
Twice, yeah.
Twice, 2-time Coach of the Year. I get things were weird with Shedeur Sanders. I don't know like the ins and outs of that, but like to make like Stefanski the bad guy with the Shedeur Sanders thing, it's like there's like 30 other teams that passed on him and did the same thing. Like the Steelers didn't draft him. The I mean, all the teams that need a quarterback should have drafted him. Even teams like the Rams with Stafford about to retire, none of them were interested in him. And then the team that ultimately took him, I guess instead of us like giving like flowers to that team, like, oh, thanks for giving him a shot, then we just like make him the bad guy for how he handles it. And
I don't get it. I feel like he would have been a perfect candidate or even a perfect head coach for the Giants. Stefanski?
Yeah. I mean, he seems like he's done a lot with nothing to me, So, and that's another guy that's got a kind of raw end of the deal. And in the NFL, they always say, if you're not like improving, like you're getting worse, like it's impossible to stay stagnant.
Yeah. So
like teams like the Steelers with Mike Tomlin never having a losing season, they're not really like getting worse, but it's impossible to just like stay the same. Like they're getting better, just not at the rate they need to keep up with the, the curve of the NFL for the people that win championships. But a coach like that can just give you a floor. like the Bears needed this. Like the Jaguars, like these bad teams. Man, how bad would Cleveland love to have a playoff one and done floor? I mean,
Yeah.
like that sounds really good to Cleveland. And I think it's important to remember, like, not all these organizations are created equal. And what one franchise is willing to throw away, another team is willing to take. And it's like one man's trash is another man's come up. We'll take Mike Tomlin. The Giants said, we'll take John Harbaugh. And it'll be interesting to see, well, what do the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Baltimore Ravens take now? And then we'll compare and see what do we think that's better. Now, sometimes it is just time for change. And I think with the Steelers, it was just like, after the end of every year, you don't want to have these conversations. Like, it gets annoying. And I think for Mike Tomlin, I really do think this was his choice. Like, I think he just decided, like, I just don't have it in me to, like, you know, see the media after every single disappointing thing and, like, talk about my job. Like, I just want to be somewhere where it's fresh, it's new, like Sean Payton did when he left New Orleans. And now he's got this new thing with Denver. Like, no matter what happens on Saturday, no one's going to be asking Sean about his job. You know, it's just not going to happen. I mean, there's going to be fans that do it because they don't know how to cope. But like, that's just the only way they can cope with loss. You know, it's like a thing. But
fire everyone. Why is this guy on the field? Blah, 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 blah. That's me during games, but not me after games.
He's not a good play caller. I've been telling you guys all season. And then,
Johnson's
you know,
trash.
you win games, and these guys are nowhere to be found. Yeah, it's amazing. But this is going to be one of those, you know, coaching, and forget about the quarterbacks. But next year when the season starts, the season's going to be unrecognizable. This is one of those years where you have to buy the new Madden. Like, you can't just ride out the old
2025. No,
yeah,
you're right.
It's like, usually it's like, yeah, it's okay. I mean, you know, Jackson Dart's not in it, but you know, it's all right. No, next year you better go buy yourself the new Madden, and I'm sure EA Sports loves it. But let's talk about the playoffs.
Let's do it.
We're going to have all offseason talk about coaching and free agents and quarterbacks, but we only have, let's see, 2 more weeks until the Super Bowl is decided.
Yep.
And I think that is the much more interesting thing going on right now. There's 8 teams remaining, and you and I both have a team that's being represented in that 8. And isn't that just cool to just pause here for a minute and think? There's 32 teams in the NFL. There's 8 teams that have a chance of going to the Super Bowl, and mine is one of them.
A quarter of the teams have a head coach opening, but our quarter of our teams are in the playoffs.
Yes. Say it. Say, there's only 8 teams left, and mine is one of them. Say it, Rick.
There's only 8 teams left, and the Bears.
Mine is one of them.
And mine is one of them, baby.
Feels good, doesn't it? All right. Well, let's start off with the Patriots and the Texans, because this is one of the more intriguing games, I think, because we saw the Patriots last week. And to be honest, if the Broncos would have played that exact Patriots game, I think we would have won. And the Patriots just looked bad to me. Like, they couldn't get anything going offensively.
Yeah.
And I think the big narrative is that, Drake May got the pregame, like the playoff jitters out of his system, so watch out. And I just don't know if I can buy that entirely, because now he's going against a better defense. And this is going to be, like, maybe even if the Patriots and Drake May are a little bit more comfortable, I don't know if that's going to cut it. I think he needs to be, like, a lot more comfortable and a lot better. And that's the only way that they're going to win. And I mean, it seems like we would have never expected the Texans, when they were like 0-3, to be in the AFC Championship. But at the same time, like, we have to understand that CJ Stroud has gone to the playoffs every year since he's been in the NFL, and he's won a playoff game every year as well. He just hasn't been able to win in the divisional round. But typically, the divisional round has been against, I think, the Ravens and maybe the Chiefs. Like it's been against like
The
two.
Chiefs was last year, and then the year prior to that, I
I
think.
thought it was the Ravens last year.
Yeah, it was the Ravens last year, and then I think it was the Bills the year prior to that, if I'm not mistaken. No, sorry, the Chiefs last year in the divisional round last year, and then I think it was the Bills or the Ravens the year before that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So really like the big three, you know, you got the Bills and the Chiefs and the Bengals, and um the the thing is like the Texans going to the divisional round against the Patriots, not to like shit on the Patriots, but
Mhm.
this is a little more approachable, I think, than those other matchups that they've had so far.
Mhm.
And this is the best defense the Texans have had. This is also the worst offense that the Texans have had.
Yeah.
And
It's gotten worse almost every year since CJ Stroud has been in the
no
league.
doubt it has.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say yeah, it's gotten worse every year, and a lot of it's due to the offensive line.
Mhm.
Look, I really don't know what to make of this game. Like I get that it's in New England. I can't underestimate that defense the Texans have. And I think from all phases of the game, Patriots offense, defense, special teams, Texans offense, defense, special teams, the Texans defense would be the one phase of the game that I trust more than any.
Mhm.
And they also have that like experience of being in the divisional round 3 straight years.
Mhm.
And I don't know, like I'm leaning Texans on this one. I really am. And I hope the Patriots win because I actually think if Denver were to win, I would rather probably play the Patriots. We have a very long history of beating New England in Denver for the AFC Championship. It's
Yeah.
kind of our thing. Matter of fact, last time we were in the AFC Championship game in Denver, we were beating New England. And
Nice.
that's what happened in 2013, the previous time we went to the Super Bowl. So, like, I feel more comfortable historically with that than like this gritty Texans team that reminds me of like a 2004 Steelers team that's like just hitting the road and loving it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, selfishly, I think I'm cheering for New England. But this is one of those where I'm just going to sit back and be like, whatever happens, I guess happens. I don't have like a strong gut feeling one way or the other like I do in some of the other games.
Yeah, I agree. The Texans defense has been just absolutely phenomenal. And the fact that in the same draft that they brought in CJ Stroud, they brought in Will Anderson Jr. And that guy in his first 3 seasons has been an absolute monster at linebacker, D end, whatever. This year, the Texans defense was the best. It was one of the best. Like Broncos, Texans. I think you kind of sprinkle in the Patriots there and the Chargers a little bit for some time there during the season, but the Texans are so dominant, man. And we saw that last week against the Steelers. They had 2 defensive touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. And this year, the Patriots had the best points per game in the AFC. So it's like strength versus strength. Like it is the best offense, or at least the most points per game offense, versus one of the more dominant defenses in the AFC. And you're right. Last week, the Patriots offense didn't really look great. And Crafty makes a really good point, right? Like the defense for the Patriots, or I'm sorry, the Chargers, was one of the best towards the last third or so of the season. So it was still a really good game for the Chargers defense, but Drake May and the Patriots offense was just that much better. Plus, the Patriots defense just shut down the Chargers completely on offense. I mean, Herbert couldn't get anything going. You saw with Greg Roman being fired, like all that stuff happening. But
can I add one thing to before?
Yeah,
I want you to talk about this. My issue with the Patriots, and I typically don't do this to teams, but I have to because I've never seen it this extreme. The whole strength of schedule thing, like we have to acknowledge that the Patriots all year played 2 teams that made it to the postseason. One of them is the Steelers.
Yeah.
And like the Steelers, first off, they lost, but second off, like the Steelers aren't necessarily like this really strong team. And then the other team is the Bills, who are in their division, and they had to play twice. They were able to beat the Bills early in the season, but the Bills were going through a weird funk where they lost to Atlanta the next week, and like then they played later in the season and the Bills won, and then like that's it. And then the Chargers game was like the first time outside of the Bills that we saw the Patriots play a playoff team since week 3.
Wow.
And all these other games, it's like Saints, Titans, Browns, Falcons, Bucks, Jets, Bengals, Giants, Dolphins, Jets.
That's one of the biggest things too. That
Raiders,
was one of the biggest arguments versus the Patriots is like, who have they played? And while that's totally fair, I still thought, the defense did really well against the Chargers offense, which, for the first like 6 games or so of the season looked really, really good. And then they just completely fell off of a cliff, but we can credit that to Greg Roman, really. And also the Patriots, man, they got the Chargers first round, and the Chargers just charger. It's literally a verb. Oh, they're chargering. It's fine. They're going to win this game. So
like, would New England have beaten anyone else in the wild card round?
And
besides the Chargers?
That's a good question. I feel like maybe they would have had a really good chance against the Steelers, but also like the Steelers defense is good too. Like, who knows how that game would have gone? Did they beat them in the regular season or no?
The Steelers beat the Patriots in the regular.
Okay, so and that's a good point. Now, obviously, when you get to the playoffs, it's a completely different animal. But the defensive part of the Steelers team could have also put a hamper on the Patriots offense, which under Josh McDaniels looks really good with Drake May at quarterback too, obviously. But yeah, man, and that was one of the biggest arguments towards the Patriots, kind of going into the playoffs with as many wins as they did, with the number 2 seed. How they have it. So I agree. Like, I totally understand that argument, because they go against very inferior defenses, inferior teams, really. And I don't know. We always say too, the schedule is the schedule, and that's all there is. Like, if you're going to beat the Bengals defense, then you're going to probably put like 35, 40 points up on there, right? If you're going to beat whatever other teams, the Jets defense, that's been trash this entire year. They play them twice. That's 3 wins right there, right? That you're getting just because of the schedule. It is what it is. And we had this conversation on Monday night after the Texans Steelers game. Once you get to the playoffs, you're going up against the hypothetically best teams in the league, right? Like, it's the top 7 teams. And yeah, you're probably only going to play 3 of them, especially if you're a wild card team or seed 2, 3, or 4. But these are the best teams in your conference. So if the Patriots can win 3 games, then I think they deserve it. And all that chatter, about or really all the talk about the schedule, it kind of goes out the window.
Oh yeah,
it's like,
gone.
It's gone. Yeah, so
irrelevant.
Exactly. But if they lose, and they lose badly against the Texans, then that conversation kind of has some merit to it, right? It's like, okay, well, they do go up against one of the better defenses in the league in the playoffs, and guess what? The Texans are in the playoffs for a reason, and they just showed you why, because they just took out the number 2 seed. But I think at the end of the day, too, I have a feeling this might be the year the Texans get out of the divisional round. But part of me is kind of like Vrabel, Drake May, the amount of points they put up, like the fact that Drake.
Yes, I'm with you.
Yeah, it's like the fact that he's doing this with like Stephon Diggs and Boutte and like all these no-namers, like Hunter Henry, for example. Like, this guy was supposed to be Gronk Jr. when he came out of college, and then it was like he was nobody, and all of a sudden he's on the Patriots, and it's like you hear his name more often. So I have a feeling that it's the Texans, but I think the Patriots are gonna move on to the AFC Conference Championship.
It feels like 2 teams that this was always going to be their ceiling, but because of the way it played out, one of them has to move on.
Yeah, Yeah, and the Texans without Nico Collins, like they have to rely on Christian Kirk, right? Like
How are they going to run the ball with Woody Marks, I guess?
Yeah.
And Nick Chubb?
Nick Chubb. And that's who they got, man. It's like,
and meanwhile, everyone's like bashing CJ Stroud, like, oh, this is CJ Stroud in the playoffs. And I'm like, are you guys watching these games? I mean, like CJ Stroud snaps the ball and he's got 2 seconds to do something, or he's getting hit.
He's sacked.
He's never been a running guy, at least like with guys like Allen and Bo Nix, it's like, if I have to run, like I can get the edge on the linebacker and then maybe even throw it. CJ Stroud's like, I got to go down or I get hit. Like, I don't really have that like burst, which some people thought, I think for some reason, that he was a running quarterback, and he's just not. Like, he's not. Like, when you look at his over under every week for rushing yards, it's like at 4.5, 6.5. Like, I'm like, that's like Stafford.
Yeah. Or like Aaron Rodgers, or like even Tom Brady later in his career. You're
right. Like these guys that just refuse to do it. So, but yeah, Butterfingers, I guess he has been having a fumbling problem. So, you know, he's not totally free from, and like by no means is this his best season. I'm not saying that, but this is just the way the NFL works, is like, when you have a defense good enough to win you a Super Bowl, your offense has to be trash.
That literally happens every year. The 2018 Bears, the 2006 Bears, like, yeah, exactly.
It can never all come together at the right moment. I mean, even look at the Chiefs, like their defense was like winning all of these games for them and got him to a Super Bowl. And it was like the worst offense Mahomes has ever had. And it's like, just 4 years prior, he threw for like 52 touchdown passes. And you're like, well, what happened? You know, why? And that defense was like mediocre.
Yeah.
It never can come together. It just never does. And if it ever does, it would look like the 2025 Broncos. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
But so kind of.
So I think you said it earlier, but just to clarify, who you got in this game?
I think I have to go with New England.
Woo, yeah, I'm going New England too. I've got a good feeling about the Texans and that defense, but I trust New England more. I trust Vrabel and I trust Drake May and Josh McDaniels as an offensive coordinator. Nothing more, nothing less, an offensive coordinator. But real quick, because I know Crafty loves this, Kyle, get off the bus. Who do you, one player from either team, who do you have that needs to get off the bus in order to make a big impact in this game?
I'm going to go with Trayvon Henderson, the rookie running back out of Ohio State. We know Ramondre Stevenson is going to get a lot of the workload, but if the Patriots are going to win this game, they're going to have to go on sustained drives against this defense. They're going to need to run the football. And I think what Trayvon Henderson brings is a change of pace to the offense. So if they can get Trayvon Henderson, we've seen games with Trayvon Henderson get I think 150 yards and multiple touchdowns and break, huge runs, like 75-yard runs. So if we can get that version of Trayvon Henderson in this game, I think that the Patriots will definitely be able to. I think he is the biggest X factor in this game. If he doesn't show up and they're just relying on Ramondre Stevenson, Diggs, Boudet, and Hunter, I don't know if it's enough. But if they can get that top rookie of the year type production out of Trayvon Henderson, where he gets the game ball and gets maybe 85 yards, a touchdown, a catch, or maybe 4 catches for 45 yards, all of a sudden the Patriots probably win this game. So I think he would be that X factor in the Patriots offense that if he shows up, they win the game. If he doesn't, I think it's a coin flip.
Gotcha. Travion Henderson, love it. For me, the guy who needs to get off the bus is an easy one, and Crafty mentions him right here in his comment. It's Stroud. It's CJ Stroud. Like, you took, what was it, a 10-6 lead or a 9-6 lead, whatever, into the fourth quarter against the Steelers. You couldn't do much. Yes, we know the offensive line is trash. Yes, we know you have a brand new offensive coordinator, but this is the third year in a row, CJ, that you have gone to the divisional round and need to get out of it. So CJ Stroud, get off the bus, get some completions, get your boy Christian those balls in the end zone, score some touchdowns, and lead your team to victory. So CJ Stroud, get off the bus.
Get off the bus.
Get off the bus. Kyle and I both have the Patriots winning this, though.
Yeah, and I would say, like, if the Texans win, I don't want to hear any Texan fans being like, showing me a clip of this. My confidence couldn't be any lower in this game. You know, it's like the 49ers beating the Eagles. My confidence couldn't have been any higher.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if the Eagles would have found a way to pull it off, I would have been shocked.
Yeah, true.
This is the opposite of that, where it's like, this is a prediction episode. You're forcing me to make a prediction.
Got to go in your face.
Yeah, I almost thought about doing it, but it wouldn't be appropriate, and I just don't want to do that. But I just don't have that much confidence in this pick at all. So Texans fans, if you're watching this, don't get upset. We're just doing this because we have to. Now, the Texans, they could very well win this game, and then all of a sudden, you guys are one win away from the Super Bowl, which that would be worth mentioning. If Buffalo wins and New England wins, Buffalo would go to New England for the AFC Championship game.
Yep.
But if Buffalo wins and Houston wins, Houston would be at home for an AFC Championship.
That's right. Yeah, because of the bracket, the way they're seated. Yep.
So there is hope, I guess, for Texans fans. We know Josh Allen has played his last game in Buffalo Stadium, but for Texans fans, there is a path where the Super Bowl runs through you. And I just think that's kind of cool because they've never done that before since being a team.
True.
Okay. Moving on to the NFC. We got the number 6 seed San Francisco 49ers, 13-5, going against the number 1 seed in the NFL, Seattle Seahawks, 14-3. We just saw this game.
Yep.
Week 18, Sunday Night Football.
I believe.
Was it Monday Night Football?
I
don't think they do Monday Night Football week 18.
No, they don't do week
now. Didn't they change it to where now they're doing it?
No, I don't think week 18. No.
Okay. Well, we just saw this game on primetime, and the stakes couldn't have been higher. The winner gets a first round bye and gets all the rest, and then whoever lost had to go on the road and play the Eagles. So it was like both teams were going to give each other their best shot. This wasn't like Denver playing the Chargers for the 1 seed, but they benched all their starters. This was like a legit playoff game. And that's important because we got a little sneak peek on what it looks like when these two teams are really laying it all out on the table, holding nothing back. And in this specific game, I think it actually is an advantage to the 49ers because for the 49ers, they got their asses kicked. And it wasn't even close. It was like one of those embarrassing type losses. And the 49ers were arguably the hottest team in the NFL going into this game. And nobody expected that type of dominance. And it wasn't even like Seattle's offense was just slinging it. It was their defense. Their defense was absolutely insane. And they've been that way all year. And that's why they're the number 1 seed in the first place. there's a couple wild cards in this game. Number one is always going to be talked about, Sam Darnold. We don't know what Sam Darnold is going to be like in this game, but I think people are a little over carried away with the narratives because I think the 49ers game was important. And the people that talk about the Lions-Vikings game last year, well, they say week 18, they were playing for the 1 seed and he had a terrible game. So they considered that like a playoff game when he lost. But this year when he won it, they're not considering it like a playoff game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we have to do it both ways. Like Sam Darnold was under pressure last 2 weeks ago and he showed up and he played a good game. And I think that counts for me in my book. I don't know if it's going to be the same as playoff pressure, but he's on the right path at least. And the 49ers advantage here is that they can go back and look at the film and see how they lost, and they can make those adjustments. It's really hard for the winning team. That's why divisional games in the playoffs are usually difficult. If you've beaten the team twice, it's hard to beat a team 3 times because it's like same thing with the NBA. Even like a sweep rarely happens. It's usually 4-1. And usually it's like game 3 that other one goes to the other team. But for the Niners, like they're looking at the film and they're like, okay, these are all the things that Seattle did that beat us. It's much harder for Seattle to go, how can we invent new ways to beat the 49ers if they adjust to what we're going to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think I'm not saying the 49ers as a team have the advantage. I'm just talking about the coaching advantage is definitely with Kyle Shanahan here. Because
that's true.
He has the upper hand just for the adjustments that are going to happen. In Seattle, I don't know, are they just going to stick with the same exact game script? And if they do, this game is going to be much closer. Like what happened is not going to happen again. The current line's at 7.5. That's not happening in my
That's
book.
a big line for the Seahawks. I thought that was a wild line. That's the largest spread in the 4 games.
Yes, and here's the other thing. Seattle, they have the rest advantage. That's a big deal, and we'll talk about that more in a little bit with the Broncos. But the other thing is the Seahawks have been much better on the road than they have been at home. Like
weird, right?
Very weird. They have a massive home field advantage, and yet it has been the hardest place for them to play this year. Even that blowout win was in San Francisco. And for Purdy, like going up against the Seahawks secondary, it's going to be difficult because it was a couple weeks ago, but I expect Purdy to have a much better game. San Francisco, I think, is going to keep it close. I think the score is probably going to be like 29-21 with Seattle winning. I don't think that it's going to be. I'm struggling with this game because there's a huge part of me that Kyle Shanahan might have had the best coaching season I've ever seen in my life this year.
Against the Eagles or
no, just like this year. Like if you like the award coach of the year, like I don't know if I've ever seen a coach that did such a good job. Like I've seen like turnarounds in organizations, like even though it's always awesome, we've seen it before. I mean, we had 2 of them this year. And Kyle Shanahan, like losing your starting quarterback for 4, 5, 6 weeks, and then losing all of your weapons, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, losing basically everybody that is good on your team. That's all
makes
pro level.
Difference. Yeah.
Even Trent Williams, like losing all these guys. And instead of the team being like, yeah, this is just not our year. Let's just like, it is what it is. Kyle Shanahan kept delivering wins and kept getting good game plans involved, whether it was Mac Jones or Brock Purdy. They just did what they needed to do. And that's why San Francisco's even in this position. So they are gritty. They are going to have a good game plan together. And Seattle is a much bigger wild card, in my opinion, because San Francisco has been playing in these type of games. It seems like Kyle Shanahan's entire career, where we haven't seen Mike McDonald in these games. We haven't seen Sam Darnold in these games. Kenneth Walker. I mean, you go through the entire Seahawks team, who's been in these games, because they haven't been, in these games in a while. That's what got Pete Carroll fired. So there's the better team is Seattle by far. And their defense is legit. And I think I'm going to take them to win, but I think it's going to be like a 26-29 Seahawks victory.
Oh, okay.
But I just don't see the 7-point spread. I don't know how. I don't know how there's a world where like Seattle pummels them the way they did 2 weeks ago and again.
I wonder if it also has to do with, and Crafty brought this up earlier, with the injuries. And Crafty had mentioned Pearsall. He practiced at a limited capacity earlier this week, so he's still kind of questionable. George Kittle's out. Trent Williams is back. So that's a big boost for the offense, like you're saying. But I don't either, dude. I don't get why they get a 7-point spread. That's ridiculous to me. So I agree. I think it's going to be a much, much closer game. But I like all the points you're talking about. Seattle hasn't been here. Sam Darnold, their quarterback, hasn't been here. JSN, Kenneth Walker, Leonard Williams, all these guys across the team, Mike McDonald, the head coach, have not been here. Shanahan has been to multiple Super Bowls. Purdy has played in a Super Bowl already. He has, right? Or am I making that up?
Purdy? Yeah.
Yeah, they lost against the Chiefs, right?
No, yeah, it went into overtime. Purdy looked awesome.
That's right. So Purdy's been in a Super Bowl. Purdy has been in NFC Championship games. He's been in playoff games. Like, the moment isn't too big for them. Like, they know once they got into the playoffs, they're like, we know our job. We know how to win these games. We know how to advance. We know how to get there. We've been there, guys. Like, rally the boys and let's get these dubs. And they played a really good game. It was kind of late game, I believe, heroics against the Eagles. But that was a good game, man. It was like two NFC, like the Super Bowl winning defending champion Eagles against multiple super time attendees in the 49ers with Shanahan and Purdy. Like, they've battled before, and the 49ers came out on top. And like you said, I really do think a lot of this goes to Kyle Shanahan and what he's done with this team with the ridiculous amount of injuries, most importantly at quarterback, having to bring in Mac Jones for Purdy. Which is, to me, is like the biggest factor in winning these games, because we've seen LaFleur do it with Malik Willis. We've seen Vrabel do it years ago with oh my God, I'm forgetting his name. The quarterback. Tannehill. Like, we're seeing a lot of these coaches that when it gets down to their second, third string guy, they're still able to pull out wins. And it's very impressive. And a lot of that credit goes to the coach. Yes, the player is the one out there doing it, but man, the coach has a ton to do with their success. So what Kyle Shanahan has done this year and even into these playoffs has been extremely impressive. And like you said, like they have the edge coach-wise and experience-wise, but my bias is definitely going to show a little bit here with Seattle. I really, really do like that defense. And I like that Sam Darnold in that week 18 game against the 49ers, it really was, like you said, it's the number 1 seed, or you play next week in a wild card and you don't secure home field advantage. And Sam Darnold, it was a 13-3 game and the defense dominated, but he still did enough to get that dub for Seattle, to get them rest, which, by the way, he had somewhat of an oblique injury, but he's going to play. And imagine if he had that in the game last week and he was playing in the wild card round. Like, how confident would Mike McDonald and the 49ers be that Sam Darnold's going to play? Instead, they get 2 weeks worth of rest. Sam Darnold is going to play in the biggest game of his career. And I'm confident that he can beat this 49ers team. And I'm confident that the Seahawks defense can contain Brock Purdy and any weapons that, Christian McCaffrey and Purdy and all these guys on the offense. I'm pretty confident that Seattle can do it. and they've got the home field advantage. And while, yes, they've played better on the road, I think this is one of those games where they know what's on the line. They know what they've worked for this entire season, and they're going to win at home. I'm taking Seattle to win this game at home on Saturday Night Football. And unfortunately for the 49ers, they've had a great year, and especially one with all the injuries and all the, just all the uncertainty, really. And they made it all the way to the divisional round when it seemed like they were kind of screwed from the beginning of the season with injuries. And yet here they are in the divisional round. Kyle Shanahan's a good coach. He's going to continue to be a great coach for this team. And, they already signed Purdy. Like, this team is going to be very consistently in the playoffs because of coaching and because of their quarterback and offensive weapons.
Yeah, in 2012, the Packers played the Vikings week 17. The Vikings won at home to clinch the number 6 seed. Packers dropped to the number 3 seed. And then the wild card round, the Packers played the Vikings in a rematch, and the Packers won. 2010, Packers and Bears played late in the season. Packers clinched late. Bears hosted NFC Championship game. Who won the late season 2010? Was it Packers?
Like the regular season or the NFC Championship?
Yeah, week 17 of 2010.
I'm pretty sure the Packers did, because I think that win may have been one of the ones that they needed to get into the playoffs, because if the Bears hosted, then the Packers were a lower seed.
10-3.
Yeah. And that's that year the offense was decent for the Bears.
3?
Yeah.
That was a good year for us.
Yeah, that was, dude. We had a field goal. You're talking field goals? Let's go.
So, yeah, not a ton of examples of this happening where you play a team late in the season and then you rematch in the playoffs. I think there was one with the Cardinals and was it the Cardinals and Cardinals and the Seahawks, I think, maybe. Regardless, I thought there was more of these, and then I tried to look it up, and it doesn't happen as often.
Yeah, and this is one of those years where with Seattle and the 49ers, I mean, 3 teams out of the West are still in the playoffs. The Bears are the only one that's not in the West that's still in the playoffs. Like, the NFC West is one of the better divisions in football, and it's so funny because I got a buddy who I was talking to, who's a Seahawks fan. Obviously, I live in Washington, and he was saying earlier on in the season, it's like, man, the NFC North is a tough division. And I was like, I don't know, man. I think the NFC West is a much better division than the North. And it was early in the season. This is when Detroit a lot of people thought Detroit was still going to win the division, followed by the Packers. The Packers were a favorite for the Super Bowl. The Bears were kind of like an afterthought. And then look at the divisional round. 3 NFC West teams, 1 NFC North team. So I told him, I was like, I think the NFC West is a much tougher division, and these playoffs just proved me correct.
Yeah, and last time this happened, it was the NFC West. It was the Rams in 2021. They
okay.
They played the 49ers, and in the 2 matches in the regular season, the 49ers won 31-10, and they won 27-24. And then in the NFC Championship, the Rams won 20-17.
Oh, yeah. That's a close game, dude. I don't understand the 7-point spread in this. Yeah. McDonald calls a great defense. Shanahan calls a great offense. Like, this may be another 13-7, another 13-10, 2017, something along those lines. And I'm going with the Seahawks because of that defense, but this is going to be a nail biter of a game on Saturday night.
Yeah, and the time it happened before that, it was Seattle and the 49ers. So it's like the last 2 times this has happened, it's been the NFC West. So,
really?
Yeah, it was Seattle won 23-17 in the conference championship. Seattle 2013, they went on to play the Broncos in that Super Bowl. And actually 2013 to 2014, they would have went on to play the Patriots. But Seattle won 29-3 in the regular season and lost 17-19 in the other one. So it was like 1-1, but then in the conference championship, Seattle won 23-17. These are close games. Like there's not going to be I could see like 23-17. That's 6 points. That's not crazy. That's almost a 7.
Yeah, but I'm calling a field goal type of game. What do you think?
Yeah.
I know you said 26-29, right? So field goal game too.
Yeah, I think field goal to 4, somewhere around there. I could see it being 4 points. Like if I were the spreads makers, I would put Seattle at minus 4.5.
Oh, 4.5?
4.5.
Okay.
Probably. Just because of the rest in the home.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. All right, Kyle. Get off the bus. Who in this matchup needs to get off the bus in order to make a big, big difference in this game?
All right. The player that needs to get off the bus. And I'm not going to go with the low-hanging fruit. I'm going to go with Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
If the 49ers are going to win this game without all of their star players, and now remember, George Kittle tore his Achilles last week. So that's probably the biggest injury of all of them. That's their leader. That's their, that's the, what do you call it? The heart and soul of the 49ers.
Heartbeat. Yep.
And he's not going to be physically out there. So basically, Shanahan's going to have to do what he's been doing all season and just putting it on the shoulders of Christian McCaffrey. Now, with this defense, that's not a guarantee. I mean, I think last time they played, McCaffrey had like 40 yards, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like they shut him down completely.
Yeah.
That can't happen in this game. With all the injuries, the 49ers need to find a way, and Christian McCaffrey just needs to, do some of this himself. But he's going to need to have one of those games where he's got 140 to 150 all-purpose yards with multiple touchdowns. And Brock Purdy's going to need to have a hell of a game as well in order for them to not become, hey, we'll just stop the run and force you to pass. Brock Purdy's going to have to pass and force them to drop back a little bit. And then Christian McCaffrey needs to run to the point where it opens up the pass. They really need to play complementary offense, and it really just all goes through Christian McCaffrey. So I think he needs to get off the bus.
CMC, get off the bus for me. Who needs to get off the bus? I'm picking an offensive player on Seattle. It's not Darnold. It's not JSN. It's not even Kenneth Walker III. Kyle, it's Rashid Shaheed.
Wow.
The wide receiver returner for the Seattle Seahawks. Now, Rashid Shaheed is coming from the Saints. When they picked him up, their special teams returns went up. Because of him and his speed, they were returning punts and kicks for touchdowns. Like, he was a difference maker. Rashid Shaheed in this matchup needs to get off the bus because they're going to be covering JSN. They're going to be limiting Cooper Kupp, even though, he's not this offensive threat he was with the Rams, but they are going to be on there. They're going to be on those two guys. So that's going to open up Rashid Shaheed for some big explosive plays. And with his speed, he can make a huge difference. I mean, he could go down the seam. Sam Darnold's got the arm. He'll toss it. And if he can beat their slot corner, their second, third string corner, I mean, you're looking at a big breakout game from Rashid Shaheed. So Rashid Shaheed, get off the bus.
I love it. That's a good one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that takes us to, what does that hat say that you're wearing?
Oh, it says the Bears.
The Bears. The Bears in their first year with Ben Johnson in the divisional round, playing at home, Soldier Field. Do we have any reports on the weather?
From last I saw, and this was about 2 days ago. The weather's supposed to be 10 degrees, possibly even colder with the wind chill in Soldier Field. And that's that earlier this week. It was like beautiful. The sun was out. I was calling my mom and she's telling me it was like in the 30s and 40s.
Oh, beautiful.
If you live in Chicago, in the Midwest, Wisconsin, Minnesota, and you go from single digits to 30 degrees, you're like, oh, spring is here. In the middle of January, spring is here. But yeah, it's supposed to be freezing cold in Soldier Field. Freezing cold, just like Ricardo's saying right here. I love it.
Well, I think that it definitely helps the Bears
going
100% against a dome team. So this is your team. So I want you to take the reins here and take your time with this one. Tell me, first off, like before you give the actual prediction, just like how it feels to be in this one.
Oh, dude, it feels great. This is the first time we're in the division game since the 2010 season, the 2011 playoffs. And that year, we lost to the Packers in the NFC Championship game. One game away from the Super Bowl, we lost to the Packers. Jay Cutler got injured in the fourth quarter. We had to bring in Caleb Haney, who threw that pick six to BJ Raji on the Packers. And that was literally the difference. A 21-14 game was the difference on that pick six. So to be back in the divisional round, even after that 2018 year, when the Bears had a monstrous, just suffocating defense, led by Khalil Mack and all these guys on defense. Nagy was the coach of the year that year. Mitch Trubisky looked like he was going to be the quarterback of the future. We had all these guys on offense that looked great. And then we lose on the Cody Parkey double doink. So to be back after 15 years in the divisional round, and on top of that, we're hosting it at Soldier Field. It's just awesome, man. I was talking to my mom earlier. She was like, "How are you feeling?" I've been telling like all my friends, my mom's been telling all her friends about how you're so happy about the Bears and blah blah blah. How your mood's probably up, and it's true, man. It is such a great feeling to be back in the playoffs. It would have sucked last week if we lost to the Packers in the way we were losing those three quarters, if that was kind of the way it ended. But regardless, it is still a very special season. The first year under Ben Johnson, second year with Caleb Williams, like the offense has looked so much better. They've gotten in shootouts with the 49ers, with Joe Flacco and the Bengals. We've put up a stupid amount of points against the Cowboys. And just like this season has just been really, really good. Caleb looks like a legit quarterback, franchise quarterback. We've got just all these guys on the offensive side of the ball. The defense is the biggest thing that worries me in a game like this against Matthew Stafford and the Rams with Puka Nacua, and how good their offense has been this year. But just the feeling of being in the playoffs and hosting 2 playoff games has been awesome. And it's been just more than I expected this year. I was expecting 9 to 10 wins and maybe a wild card, and we got 11 wins with 2 playoff games at home, which and the number 2 seed, which has just been gravy on top of all that. So it has been a really good season to be a Bears fan. The good, better, best with Ben Johnson has been awesome. And it's just been one of those rallying cries that it's like, that's something I look forward to on TikTok and YouTube every single time the Bears win a game. So it's been really, really special. But going into this game, we talked about it. You asked about it at the top. The weather's supposed to be really cold. The Bears play in this type of weather all the time. The Rams necessarily don't. The biggest thing I've already said that worries me is the defense and how many points they let up. Just the lack of pressure we put with our front 4. And even when we blitz 5, 6, 7 guys, we struggle. This defense struggles to put any type of pressure on Jordan Love, on Brock Purdy that last game, on Jared Goff, the Week 18 game against the Lions. Like, they struggle to put pressure on there. In that fourth quarter against the Packers, though, Montez Sweat was all over Jordan Love. We had our second year, or third year, I should say, defensive end, Austin Booker, who's looked a little bit better, batting down balls, getting in the face, causing pressures. So there are things that you look at this defense where you could be like, hey, there's some bright spots. But overall, this defense is ranked 29th. There's only 3 teams that are ranked worse than the Bears defense. Points per game, rushing yards allowed, passing yards allowed, just total defense in general is 29th. So what are we to look forward to in this defense? It's the ability to get turnovers, whether it be interceptions, whether it be fumbles, what have you. That's the biggest thing. And we were unable to do that against the Packers last week. That's one of the biggest things that this defense needs to do. We saw what happened against the 49ers. We got an early pick 6 off the first pass from Purdy, but we turned that into 7 points. Awesome. We still lost the game. We got a turnover and we got points off of that, but we still lost the game. So regardless of the defense getting a pick, the offense still has to pick up a lot of the slack. The biggest thing that worries me about the offense is that first half of the game and how dead it looked against the Packers, how dead it looked against the Lions, and how we are a second half team. I know I've said this before a lot of Bears games, but we need to be better in that first half. We need to take and turn that first drive. We need to turn that into points. 7 points, not 3. We need to turn that into a touchdown, man. It's something that they've lacked a lot late in the season. And you saw again in their first playoff game under Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. But, I sound like a broken record. We need to score a touchdown on that first drive, especially if we're taking 7-8 minutes off the clock and we're inside the 5. We need to turn those red zone trips into touchdowns. That's the only way we're going to win this game, because you can, as a Bears fan and all Bears fans, we expect the defense to give up 20 points. Easy. Like that's what we expect minimum, 20 points to be given up from that defense. And that's not to say that they won't make a difference. I talked about the turnovers. That can be a big difference. But the points they allow, the yards they allow, it's just, it's almost expected that we're going to be in shootouts every single game. But luckily, we do have the offense, we have the quarterback, we have the weapons that can keep us in games offensively. Now, another kind of negative is Ozzie Trapillo, our rookie left tackle, sustained a season-ending injury. I forget exactly what it was, but it was his left patella, something like that, I believe. Those are very, very tough to come back from. So he emerged as our starting left tackle and a very good one. He was our second-round pick. But, man, to have that in your first playoff game, to have a season-ending injury like that, and for it to be a tough one to come back from historically, it's rough. Now we're going to bring in Theo Benedict, an undrafted free agent we had last year. And he's been decent. We also have Braxton Jones as our left tackle, who's been our left tackle prior to this season, was pretty much our consistent left tackle for about 3 seasons. So he's got the experience, and under Ben Johnson and under Roshar, who's our offensive line coach, I feel like with him, his veteran leadership and those guys, like he could be better. So all that being said, there's a lot of positives that the Bears have. There are some negatives that I think can be exposed by the Rams and Sean McVay. Sean McVay is a very good coach. Matthew Stafford is an awesome quarterback, even though he does have an injury status and even though he does have an injured hand or thumb on his throwing arm. So those things we're going to have to be able to try to expose on the defense, try to bat that arm, try to get pressure on him to pressure him into throws that maybe aren't necessarily there. But it's Sean McVay and it's Matthew Stafford. These guys have won a Super Bowl. Puka Nacua, I don't think hasn't yet, but Puka Nacua is an absolute problem at wide receiver. And I think we're going to have Jalen Johnson on him, but Jalen Johnson is not the same Jalen Johnson from the last 2 years. The injury at the in the offseason has kind of like followed him throughout the season. And you could tell, Bears fans, NFL fans alike, can tell that he's not the same guy this year because of that injury. It's been lingering all year throughout games. He had re-aggravated that in the week 2 loss against the Lions. So it was just, it's Jalen Johnson, but it's not the same Jalen Johnson. He's still very effective, but he can be beat, especially with a nagging injury. So this is going to be a really good game. I do feel like this is going to be a shootout, but the biggest things that are going with the Bears are the weather and the injury to Matthew Stafford's throwing hand, arm, whatever it was. But the defense and that front four on the defensive line needs to get pressure. Dennis Allen in these first half of games of the defense, it's been bad. And I don't know, man. I saw a TikTok earlier where it's like the first half defense and maybe even 3/4 of that defense under Dennis Allen was like, hey, this is our defense. And then halftime comes around and he changes the scheme. And it's like, oh, the Packers, for example, last week, they scored 21 points, whatever it was, in the first half. They only scored 6 in the second half. So Dennis Allen can make these adjustments in the second half, but you would want to see that throughout the entire game. 6 points would be awesome. But those are the things that are working for the Bears. And obviously Caleb Williams has been phenomenal. Ben Johnson has been a great head coach and play caller, which is one of the things I think Bears fans worried about, because I remember prior to us hiring Ben Johnson, you had asked me, you're like, would you take Ben Johnson, a coordinator coming from Detroit, or would you take Kevin O'Connell right now? And I was like, give me Kevin O'Connell. Not only is he an offensive guy, but he's proven that he could be a head coach and a play caller at the same time. And obviously now backtracking, give me Ben Johnson all day, because he has proven that he can do that. And it's the first year under his system. And it took a bit to get the running game going, to get Caleb going, to get this offense going in general. But he's been able to do that, the second half of the season into the playoffs. But it does take a while during games. And Caleb Williams, what else can you say about the Iceman? Dude, he's just an amazing quarterback. He's the number 1 pick for a reason. And, last week he showed why he deserved to be number 1 overall in that draft 2 seasons ago. Pick wise, I mean, who am I kidding? Give me the Bears, baby. Give me the Bears 30-28, a 2-point victory over the Rams. And give me that Iceman celebration, baby. Caleb Williams, 2-minute drive to end the game. DJ Moore again, game-winning touchdown. Bears win, baby. Let's go.
Wow. This one's tough for me because I don't want to go against the Bears. Like,
hey, go with your heart. Go with your heart. I get it. I totally get it. Go with your heart.
I feel like the Bears have accomplished a lot this year.
A lot.
At the same time, I think Matthew Stafford is going to win MVP. And the key matchups for me is whether or not the Bears can slow down the Rams passing game.
Yep.
And Puka Nacua, no matter how many times he has these 170-yard games, that seems to just be like the norm for him, is like, oh, Puka Nacua had 12 catches for 170 yards and 2 touchdowns. And the Bears are going to have to get pressure, to force Stafford to not make these throws or allow Puka Nacua to get open. And the Bears haven't been the best at that.
No,
at getting pressure.
Nope.
So, I mean, I think on offense, the Bears are going to have to lean on their ground game a lot, try to bleed the clock and keep Stafford on the sideline. I don't know if this is like the type of game that the Bears are going to want to get into a shootout with the Rams. They might think that's what they want, but I don't think it is entirely a good plan, because we kind of saw that with the 49ers a couple of weeks ago. What helped the Bears in the second half of the Packers game was playing good defense and also continuing to put up points, but it wasn't like a shootout in the second half by any means. It was more so that the Packers just couldn't have their way. The Bears were getting pressure on Jordan Love and making him uncomfortable, and then that changed everything. If the Bears are going to kind of lean on their ground game and try to play like a cold weather, gritty type of football game, I think that there's a good chance they pull it off. On the same side, I feel like if the Rams get off to like a 21-3 lead, they need to really think about winning by like 40 points or they're going to lose.
Yeah.
Because the Rams have lost only 5 games this year, but 2 of those games, their opponent came back and beat them. So like the Rams have already been letting teams come back this season and beat them when the Rams have had a lead on them.
Yep.
The Bears are definitely not as experienced as the Rams. I think Chicago is a really good, if you're, betting on the game. I love where they're at for the points because I don't think the Rams are going to be able to win this game by, whatever 6.5, 7 points. I think this is going to be a very close games. Here's what's going for the Bears. The Rams didn't look great beating the Panthers last week.
Yeah.
Like they didn't. They found a way to do it, and the Bears were able to rally and beat the Packers. So you kind of have two teams coming off opposite mojos, but also I worry about the emotion of the Packers game. And like now you got to play another game and just kind of put that behind. Now I know like Ben Johnson and the players are all going to be like saying the right thing, but those type of games have a way of carrying over when it's a young team that hasn't been in a ton of these, like they haven't really gotten that down yet, of like, okay, yeah, we have to turn the page. Like, no. Our first year, we just said the cliches, but now we really do them. There's like a process involved. And I think for the Rams, it's almost like they played like the worst version of themselves, and maybe the Bears played the best version of themselves.
Yeah.
And I don't think either is going to be able to repeat it. And that's kind of why I'm leaning Rams. And it's just because I think the Rams are going to look much better than they looked last week. I know that the cold weather and I don't know if like Stafford is the kind of guy. I've seen him play in cold weather. I have never noticed. It's not like a Tua Tagovailoa situation.
The Mike McDaniel thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I get it. Like it definitely is an advantage to the Bears, but the Bears haven't really played in it either that much. There's been a couple games that have been cold, but outside of that, it's like Caleb Williams was at USC.
Well, yeah, I know, I get that, and I think Stafford was
Georgia,
yeah, too. And I in the cold weather department, we do have to give it to the Bears because. Yeah, Stafford played in Detroit, but the Lions play in a dome stadium. He's never
right. And I don't even read that much into it because like
I don't either, but it does have a slight effect.
It does, and I give that to the Bears. I just it's not enough for where I would be like, no, that's the difference.
It's not a 3-point swing.
Yeah. Like if it was the Dolphins, maybe. Because like we really haven't seen them play. If it was Peyton Manning, like that would, because he just didn't play good and cold. And think about it, that one Super Bowl we got blown out in Seattle was in New Jersey, and it was like 30 degrees, and Manning looked terrible. Like it's just, the offense was scoring 55 points all year, and then 8, in the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Some teams just. I don't know if it definitely is an advantage to the Bears. How much? I don't know. This game is another one where I'm very low confidence on because the Rams made me lose. Like in the last 3 weeks, the Rams have like done their best to make me question my Super Bowl pick. I started the year off saying that the Rams were going to the Super Bowl this year. I'm not like willing to like retract that, but I'm not as confident in that pick as I was, because I think whoever wins this game, I don't know if they beat the next team, because if the 49ers are able to pull it off, I think the 49ers would be more beatable, because
Mm-hmm.
at that point they're just kind of banged up,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Super banged up, even more so. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like they're on their last leg and it's the most important game. And that's why you get 2 weeks after the NFC Championship to the Super Bowl. But for the Rams, like I
Say it. Say it. Say it.
I feel like the Bears win.
Oh, let's go, baby.
I feel like it's one of these like unlikely games where, look, there's just a certain vibe right now.
Mhm.
And I lean vibes more than anything. If you think about it, football is a momentum game. And
Mhm.
once the vibes turn, like that's it. It's very hard to pull that momentum back.
Yeah.
Now, this place is going to be rocking, okay? This
Oh, yeah.
place is going to be going crazy. If the Rams go out to the same type of lead the Packers did, forget about it. It's not happening. The Rams aren't
Mhm.
giving it up. And I know the Bears have been making all their money this year that way, but
Mhm.
I don't think that it's going to work if they get because first off, if the Rams get out to a lead like that, that means the Rams and their offense is working. I don't think that's going to work. Kind of like, if you're going with the Bears, you're banking on the Rams offense not getting out to a fast start.
Mhm.
Okay. If they do that, I don't think that you're just like going to expect them to the MVP is just going to suck in the second half. Like, maybe Jordan Love,
Yeah.
could,
That's fair.
but Stafford's been on another level this year, and I see this game being one or two things.
Mhm.
Honestly, I see this game being like Bears win, and I think it would be a field goal, not even a touchdown. But the other way I see it is like the Rams win 31-10. Like
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't even see like a middle. And that's just how I see this game. And sometimes the game just has to start for you to figure out which game we're in. It's
Yeah.
like, are we in that game? Are we in this game? And anytime you're playing at home, there's an opportunity for you to be in that game where you pull it off. That's just why home field advantage is what it is. And
Mhm.
um, it's really like a coin flip for me, because they're coming off the Panthers game and then they lost again week 16, and the Rams just haven't been playing their best ball, and more importantly, their defense has been trash.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're supposed to have all this confidence in the Rams and be like, oh, they're just more experienced, but it's like, do we really have more confidence in the Rams than the Bears right now? Like, really, we have
It,
that much more? I don't.
yeah.
I don't. I have more confidence in Sean McVay and Stafford being like at this part of their career.
Mhm.
And I don't have much confidence in what I saw in the first half from the Bears, but I don't know which Bears team showing up for this one. And I don't know
Mhm.
which Rams team I should expect either. So I don't know. Like, it's either Bears win a close one, or like the Rams have a classic Rams ass whooping, and everybody feels bad for a little bit until they remember how far they came in 1 year for the Bears.
And that's fair to me, because your question is like, which Bears are we getting? Are we getting 49ers shootout Bears that start the first half with, maybe they don't score in their first drive, but they put up points in that first half, like multiple touchdowns, and in the second half? Or are we getting lame duck offense for 3/4 Bears like they did against the Packers, and then come back cardiac Bears in that fourth quarter that scored 25 points against that Packers, right? Like, I think that's a totally fair assessment, because like you said, even with the weather the way it is, like, it snowed before the Packers game last week, but not during the game. That snow was gone by game time.
Yeah,
And
was no factor.
Yeah, it was no factor. Maybe the cold did something, but Lambeau is also an open air stadium, and
Cold.
in like December, January, cold as hell. And the Packers have played plenty of games where there are icicles off the railings in
Of the
Lambeau.
beards.
Yeah, off the beards, off the snot of fans in the stands. So you're right. Like, I think it's a fair statement to be like, look, which Bears are we getting? And if we're getting the lame duck 3/4 offense Bears, Rams are taking this, and they're taking it handily. We're probably talking like a 30-14, 34-14 game. But if the Bears can come out and fix those issues in that first half that they had against the Packers, and can do something similar to what they did against the Cowboys, what they did against the Bengals, what they did against the 49ers, right, in that game, right? Scoring points, and a ton of them. And just every drive, it was like touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. Then we're looking at a 3-point game, 2-point game, in my prediction, 30-28, right? So I totally agree. Like, and believe me, you saw me. You were right next to me as you are now with on that game last week against the Packers. I was mother effing the Bears. I was saying, why are they dropping it? This
I'm not
offense
gonna
is
cuss
garbage.
this year, guys.
I'm not, guys, come on. I'm not. I think Nick called it too. He's like, I give it 3 plays into the Bears season before it break. And I think it was like the third quarter of that game against the Vikings. But regardless, I totally feel you. So Kyle, get off the bus. Who needs to get off the bus in this game to make an impact?
DeAndre Swift.
Mm-hmm.
DeAndre Swift, absolutely. I don't know if there's been a player we've been more confused about than DeAndre Swift as far as like Bears go in the last 2 seasons. I mean, this is a guy that's like been, once this season's over, I want him gone. Like, and it's also been somebody that has had games where you're like, there he is. Yep. I knew he was in there. Yep. There's no way the Bears win this game without a good running attack. And now we know Monangai might even be the better runner in these type of games. Cold weather, windy, just line them up and pound it. Yep. We might think Monangai's, but Ben Johnson's going to give those carries to DeAndre Swift. So
yeah.
Are those going to go for 1 yard back to the line of scrimmage against a pretty good run defense that the Rams have? Or is DeAndre Swift going to have one of those games where he's cracking 9, 12, 14, and it seems like every time they get him the ball in space, he's just in a rhythm and he's in the zone, and it doesn't even matter. In the Rams running defense that's been a little susceptible, Bears just kind of lean into it and just make them basically fall apart in front of our faces. I feel like DeAndre Swift has the potential to be that guy. He took the ball for 36 yards in another score when they played last. The last meeting was week 4 of 2024 with the Rams and the Bears. And the Rams, they had like a back and forth game, but then DeAndre Swift was able to actually be the reason that they won that game. On one of the final drives. The last touchdown the Bears have was DeAndre Swift on a 36-yard touchdown. So I want to see DeAndre Swift come out and remind everybody who he is.
Yeah, and I agree. And I was gonna say Kyle Monangai, if you picked a Ram, I was gonna say the same thing. If it's gonna be cold, dude, these guys, both of them need to get off the bus and make an impact. But because you picked DeAndre Swift, for me, I am picking the other back on the Rams, Kyren Williams. You need to get off the bus to make an impact in this game. You only had 57 yards off 13 carries with a long of 8 yards. That was his longest run of the day against the Panthers. And not to say that the Panthers defense was this trash defense. They were a decent defense. But Kyren Williams does need to get the ground game going for for the Rams. I'm not entirely sure what Blake Corum did last week, but if Kyren Williams, if you're the lead back, man, you've got to get off the bus and get more than 57 yards to make a difference in this game, in a cold game where the running game may be what the Rams need, to dominate in order to get the dub pretty handily, because then how we've seen in the past, you set up the run game, the play action game follows, and you're talking about 15, 20, 30-yard pass completions from the favorite of the NFL MVP award in Matthew Stafford and Puka Nacua. I mean, Kyren Williams, 57 yards. I don't think he's going to cut it in this game for 4 quarters. We gotta pump those numbers up. Those are rookie numbers. We gotta double those up, right? So Kyren Williams, get off the bus to make an impact with the Rams.
What's crazy is the Rams and McVay are 2-2 in games below 32 degrees, and they average 15 points per game in those 4 games.
And Sean McVay and the Rams at Soldier Field 0-2.
Wow.
0-2. Yeah.
Wow.
So that's another thing that is going for the Bears, but it's the playoffs, baby. It's a different animal.
This
Throw
will
those
be the
records out.
coldest game the Rams have ever played under Sean McVay.
Yep.
Ever. And,
really? Holy shit.
And
wow.
On top of it, Devontae Adams has been a problem for the Bears for many years. And that'll be an interesting thing. Devontae Adams being back in Chicago.
True.
And this game's got it all, man. I'm so pumped up about it. But
and the fact that it's a Sunday night game is crazy.
Yeah, it's gonna be like it's all settled at that point. We're just waiting on the winner of this game. So
all right, Kyle, it's time, and I'm gonna put up the banner. But Kyle's got a little something special for us. Did you want to do it at the very beginning?
Yeah, I'll click it.
All right,
here we go.
Let's run it.
The emotions as the season's ending, is that what's hitting you right now?
And just proving everybody wrong. That's what kind of makes me happy about it all. From top to bottom, everybody just knowing the work that they put in.
And most of the time, you only get one chance at it. Better hit it while you got it.
Picks, you can always tell the body language that was different. 3rd and 15. Nix on mark. Here's the rollout, the throw, it's there. And the Broncos have taken the lead. Nix will take it himself on 1st and 10. Blocked by Rose, touchdown Denver! Go. The throw instead, he's going to make the connection. 2nd and 2 inside 4 minutes, first half. Nix, wide open is Sutton. Nix, in zone bound, pulled in. Here we go, Jim. Here we go. Again, goes for the deeper pass, and this time it's caught. Sutton, the 3rd down magician. Goes a check down, and immediately knocked off his feet. Ani Vidal, a big hit by Pat Surtain.
What I expect from him every game, not sometimes, all the time. Best in the world. Let's keep going, bro.
Last snap, and it is over. What a season for the Denver Broncos.
Like them or not, the number 1 seed this year in the AFC is the Denver Broncos.
And it's going to be a tall task for anyone to come into Denver with this defense.
You better have your why. And it's easy if you look to the man to the right and to the left, you can see it. That's your why.
My coach at Oregon, Coach Lanning, used to tell us it's all about the illusion of choice, to where people think they have a choice in life, but they really don't. There's no choice. You do it, or I guess you get left behind. So it doesn't matter if I want to be doing this or not. I'm doing it.
Man, it's terrifying It's so
Oh yeah.
it's terrifying, the feeling of being 2 days away from 2 days from now, our season could be over.
Mm-hmm.
Or we could be hosting the AFC Championship.
Let's go, baby. Let's go.
I'm so pumped. I mean, this is like kind of circle because we ended the season last year playing the Bills in a game that was like, man, just getting into the playoffs was such a big deal. But once we got there, it wasn't there. It wasn't there. It was like we were obviously missing a couple more pieces. I felt like Bo Nix played a good game, weirdly.
Yeah, I agree.
And it was just everything around him the Bills were just better that day. It's like there wasn't like one thing that you could point to and say like that was it. It was just they were a better football team. And it was obvious when you watched the game, like, that's what it looks like when a better football team is on the field. And you run out of just like magic. It's like sometimes you only get so much magic and you just have to be better than the other team. And that's what the Bills were. And we went back to the drawing board feeling good, like, okay, the core group sticking together. Bo's going to go into year 2. We bring in Talanoa Hufanga. We bring in Dre Greenlaw.
Yep.
We bring in weapons, RJ Harvey, Evan Ingram.
Yep.
We draft Pat Bryant. And the defense, it's like, wow, if even one of those guys between Talanoa Hufanga or Dre Greenlaw pans out for us, we're going to be the best defense in the damn league. And Dre Greenlaw is playing on against Buffalo, and Talanoa Hufanga was voted first team All-Pro, and he had his best season ever.
Yep.
In tackles. So like this defense is insane. They came, I think, 6 sacks away from the Bears record of all time like sacks, which is a little wild to do that in 2025 when quarterbacks are getting the ball out of their hands in 2 seconds in the screen game. Like nowadays you get these wide receivers that break the reception record, like Justin Jefferson was going to break Jerry Rice's record. But it's like the context is like they didn't run these wide receiver screens in the 80s. Like all of Jerry Rice's catches were like 20 yards downfield. So it's very hard to break some of these records from back in the day. And they came damn close because this defense gets in a ton of pressures. I mean, we talk about Myles Garrett being the best defensive player in the league. Zach Allen had more quarterback hits than Myles Garrett this season. Like these are guys that don't even get voted first team All-Pro. Because they're just and the Broncos had the most Pro Bowl votes of any team in the NFL. And this is clearly a situation where the Broncos are the better team in this game. Now, the better quarterbacks on the other team. Josh Allen is where he's at in his career right now. It's very down the road where we can only hope that Bo Nix will go. But everything else is Denver. We have the better defense. We have the better playmakers. We have the better pressure. We have the better wide receivers. We have the better play caller. We have the home field advantage. We have the rest advantage. We had the bye week. Buffalo just went to Jacksonville, played on a Sunday, has to go back to Buffalo, to go back to Denver to play in 5 days later. And they lose all of their weapons that they had left. They get Gabe Davis, who gets pushed up to a starting role because of all the injuries, and he tears his Achilles. So then they got Shavers, and then Shavers tears his ACL. It's like Buffalo's really going to have to just run the ball, and Kincaid and Knox and these guys are going to just have to, run these, 2 tight end personnel groups and just hope that they can just run for 170 yards with Cook. And Josh Allen can, of course, be Superman. And I don't know if it's going to be enough this year. Now, there's a lot of people saying, like, if Josh Allen doesn't win it this year, then when is he ever going to do it?
Yeah.
I think I told you, I think it's unfair because not only is it just rude to all the teams in the playoffs, like it's like 2 of the 3 other teams in the playoffs won more games than Buffalo this year.
Mhm.
So, like, to say, like, if we can't, beat those teams that were better than us all year, then we really suck. Like, then by that measure, you already suck. I mean,
Mhm.
this isn't like the Panthers squeaked by, the Rams because Stafford got hurt, and now the Bills are playing the Panthers. These are legitimate teams that no matter how hard the NFL media tried to pour cold water on Denver, saying, I mean, look, after week 12 against the Raiders, Colin Cowherd said, I wonder, would Sean Payton move off of Bo Nix? I'm dead serious.
That's yeah.
He has regressed massively. And then 2 weeks or 3 weeks later, like, he's playing the Packers and he becomes the first quarterback to throw for 4 touchdown passes on a Jeff Hafley defense. And you realize something about Sean. It's that he's calling the games in a very specific way, depending on who he's playing. Like, against the Raiders, it was boring. Against the Chargers and the Chiefs the last 2 weeks, you could tell that when you go back and just count the plays, run, screen, you can tell that Sean's not in his bag at all because he's not revealing anything first off, if the Chargers won last week, we would be playing them again right now. So, of course, he wasn't like, people don't feel good about Denver's offense right now, but they act like they can't go back 3 weeks and see the Packers game and see what it looked like when Sean was in his bag.
Thank you for doing that, by the way.
Yeah. What did I do?
Beat the Packers.
Oh, yeah. And people just have short-term memory. And even Sean in the postgame, they're like, are you worried about like the offense these last 2 weeks? And he's like, no, we'll be ready. Like, he can't come out and say it, but obviously if Sean wanted to beat the brakes off of these teams, he would have done what he did to the Chiefs in week 18 last year and won 38-0.
Yeah.
They weren't trying to play that type of a game, and you can't convince me any different because I can look at the play calling at this point and tell you what Sean's trying to do. Because when he's really trying to win, you get like the Buffalo playoff game last year, a 50-yard touchdown on the first drive. Like, there was none of that deep shots, nothing like that was going on. It was very boring because Sean was like, I think we can win this game 10-3. And he even said, I don't think Trey Lance can even complete a ball. So, like, why would we just
I'd bet on that.
our hand to our future opponents when we could just, I don't know, be this team that's kind of slept on? Let people think our offense sucks, and we'll just come out and do what we did against the Packers, and people will be like, oh, they got us again. And it's like, yeah, stop reacting so much to one game. I think Denver's in a good spot. They open up as an underdog at home. Now, last time there was an underdog at home in the divisional round that was a 1 seed, it was Nick Foles and the Eagles. And I think Nick's knew that because he said in his press conference, he's like, well, it worked out pretty good for the last team that was an underdog with the 1 seed. And he's said the phrase overdog, like,
oh yeah,
after the Packers game, he's like, I don't know, I guess we're the overdogs. So there's like, everyone's got t-shirts on that say overdog, which I love it. I just, there's nothing more I wanted than to lose to Jacksonville. Now, in the moment, of course you want to win, but it was so obvious to me how bad that would have been for us. It would have been so bad. You never want to be the team that the players all feel like we're the best team in the NFL. This team is built to have a chip on their shoulder. They are not the same team without it. They won 11 games in a row, and they got beat in that Jacksonville game, and that's all the media and the fans needed to go all the way back to week 1 with the Broncos narratives and be like, yeah, but look, they suck, and then they have those 2 games that were boring and terrible that they won both of them, but they were just so bad that people are like, I don't know about this, and it's like, perfect. That's where we want our opponents. That's where we want the media, and our fans now are going to embrace this underdog, which they have. And Denver has been able to win all of their games where they've been these underdogs that are like, whether you go back to week 5 against the Eagles, or, all these, the Chiefs game where their playoffs were on the line, where they were 7-point favorites. Like, Denver's done their best in these games where everyone's counted them out. And I just don't know if Buffalo, under the circumstances, has what it takes to beat Denver. All they really have is Cook, and Josh Allen.
Yep.
And I don't know if that's going to be enough. And it's crazy to see Buffalo open up as a favorite. But that is not surprising, based on how they've been talking about Denver all year. But I wouldn't have it any other way, because if it were the other way, I wouldn't feel good about winning, to be honest.
Yeah. And there was, so I listened to a podcast, a Barstool podcast, and they talked about how special and how magical it is to play a playoff game at Mile High.
Whew.
There's something about it,
dude. It is lit. Oh my God.
Clearly I haven't experienced it. There's something about Mile High that just makes it like
tears.
Oh my God, Elway, going back to that, like all that, the crowd getting into it, the fact that Denver's the Mile High city, it's something about it. It gives you just that warm feeling of NFL football, and that, how they say, like, how could you not get romantic about baseball?
Yes.
It's the same thing with Denver and Mile High. They were talking about that. And
dude,
I was
you're
like,
giving me goosebumps. Stop.
I know. I love you. So it was, and that's what they were talking about. And one of the earliest memories I have as a kid is watching Elway and the Denver Broncos win a Super Bowl. That is the earliest NFL memory I have personally. John Elway winning it in 90, whatever it was. I forget, like 97, 98, something like that.
98. Well, you went back to back. So was it the Packers or the Falcons?
I believe it was the Falcons.
I was going to say that makes sense. That would be your first, because I just missed that one by like 2 years.
Oh, okay. So then, like that was my earliest memory, was John Elway and the Broncos winning that Super Bowl. And now that I think about it, I'm like, wow, this all kind of makes sense. All of this led to me and you being boys, getting this show on YouTube. And now the Broncos go from first round exit last year to number 1 seed, first round bye against the same team that took them out last year. Going towards the game now. Bo Nix, this defense, Sean Payton, he's looking to be the first NFL head coach to win the Super Bowl with 2 different teams. And yes, there's all this talk about the BS, about the Raiders, Bo Nix having these bad games against certain teams, lest they forget who brought the Broncos back against the Giants in that fourth quarter miracle game. It was Bo Nix and Sean Payton in that defense. Who led the Broncos to a number 1 seed in a first round bye? Bo Nix, the defense, and Sean Payton. Now you look on the other side with Josh Allen and the Bills. They've been at this game for years. And look, this is their best opportunity in the sense that there's no Joe Burrow, there's no Lamar Jackson, and really the nail in the coffin, there's no Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. But like you said earlier, that's a disrespect, and that is bulletin board material for not only the Broncos, but every other team in the AFC right now. Josh Allen is Josh Allen. He is just a gift from the NFL gods at quarterback. Gabe Davis, unfortunately, is done for the year, and they've got a monster running back in James Cook, who has been a beast all year. They've got this great dual threat at tight end with Dawson Knox and Dalton Kincaid, but their defense is lacking hard. It is lacking hard. And McDermott, He's been the head coach for this team, a defensive-minded head coach whose defense has not been that good. Maybe 1 or 2 years so far in his coaching tenure have they been good. Bo Nix, man, I told you last year in that game against Buffalo, he reminds me of a Josh Allen type of quarterback where if his players aren't necessarily catching the ball, they aren't making plays, Bo Nix is going to go like, okay, I'm doing this myself. I'm going to grab this ball, run up the middle through that freaking nose tackle and get 7 yards, get 10 yards, get 15 yards for a first down. You got Courtland Sutton, who ever since we started this show has made nothing but these ridiculous catches in the end zone, tippy toe in the basket, even with Russ at quarterback type of catches,
especially
with Russ. Mims is your speedster who was an all-pro returner. You've got
Pat Bryant out of Illinois,
who's made catches. Troy Franklin, who was this teammate of Bo Nix, who yes, sometimes you get frustrated with, but then other days he's like coming out with these catches. And not to mention the defense led by Pat Surtain, Nick Bonito, Zach Allen, Talanoa Hufanga, and Dre Greenlaw, who are just making impacts. And clearly two of the biggest reasons why the Broncos defense is where it's at in the rankings at number 1. I mean, you've got players all over the field, all over the 53-man roster on the Broncos. But Kyle, I'm sorry. I know you're the number 1 seed, but Josh Allen is quarterback on the other side. And McDermott and James Cook and that 2 tight end set, man, it's crazy. It is crazy. So give me the Broncos at home. Give me the Broncos by a touchdown. Give me the Broncos and Bo Nix to Courtland Sutton. Give me RJ Harvey running up the middle for a score. Give me Bo Nix. Give me Bo Nix running up for a touchdown. Broncos win 28-21.
If our predictions come true, 3 of the 4 remaining teams will be quarterbacks selected in the 2023 NFL draft class. 2024.
That's right.
Drake May, Caleb Williams, and Bo Nix.
Isn't that insane? What a quarterback class. We called it. You and I called it.
It could have easily been Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams, Bo Nix, and Drake May if he stayed healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, that's unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, think about that. Like, that's
insanity.
Crazy. So, like, these are just this will never happen again. I rarely say never. There's a couple of times I will. Like, the longest punt will never be broken, ever.
Yep.
Ever. Promise. You know why I promise? Because it happened in Denver and it was a 99-yard punt. So it can't be.
That's why.
And there's never going to be a quarterback draft class that in 2 years, 3 of them potentially are in the AFC NFC champ. It's just not happening. So
it's insane.
Enjoy it while it's here. You know, the season started, and it's like I always say, like, fans know their team, and they really do. Like, they know, like, when I looked at this team, I'm like, this team is absolutely incredible as far as the amount of talent it has.
Oh yeah.
But then Sean comes out and says, I've coached, 4 or 5 teams that I felt like could win the Super Bowl, and this is one of them. And then he got bashed like all week. Like, why don't you try to win a playoff game first?
Yep.
And it's like, wow, people are really mad at that. Like, I'm just reporting the news. Like, like
I'm just saying facts.
It was like when Sean said that, Liam Cohen's doing a really good job. It's impressive because sometimes these small market teams are hard to, turn around so quick. And then all of a sudden they're wearing shirts and Liam Cohen's like, not bad for a small market team. And it's like, really? You guys are butthurt about that?
Yeah.
Like, you guys, it's just... I don't know. Like, I was like, Liam Cohen, I was like your biggest fan, and you're like such a douche. It's like, really, like,
Duval.
I'm like, yeah, whatever it takes, I guess. Did you see that reporter that was like telling him he did a
Good
good
job, young man.
Yeah.
You success. Blah blah.
I
blah.
kind of
Yeah.
liked him back again after that because I was
did
like,
too.
I'm
I did
glad
too.
he just like let her, instead of being like, thanks, next question.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
What was
anyway,
the question? No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, there was people mad at that, and I'm like,
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
really? Like, God, you guys are just nothing will ever make anyone happy. So like
just bask in the moment.
yeah,
it's nice. It's a
it's
nice
like, why
moment.
can't anyone just like be neutral about things? Like, you don't have to like
Just
it
fuck
or
you, that's
dislike
why.
it, like just exist,
Uh-huh.
And I felt like when Sean said that, he was trying to send a message to his team, and then all off season, I played clips here, but in the predictions where it was like Bo Nix. Remember that girl? It was like what was it? Dina Reeves.
Diana Rossini?
Yeah, who was like, he's a big boy now, and it was like kind of cringy.
Yeah.
But she was basically saying like this team. I've gone to all these different teams, and like this camp specifically, they're like locked in talking about the Super Bowl. Like, and it doesn't take a genius to like notice that they're not going to be able to keep all this talent on this team.
Mhm.
There's a window, and it's kind of like what the 49ers didn't capitalize on.
Mhm.
And Denver's got them, and they'll be in it next year too. Whatever happens, they'll be in it.
Oh yeah.
But it's going to close. And
Mhm.
this is probably the best opportunity because they're the 1 seed. They're at home hosting all these playoff games. If they win, it's coming through Denver. And would you take New England or the Texans in the conference championship over the Broncos? I don't think I would. I think that the hardest team we're playing right now. I think that is just the truth. Like Josh Allen, under all of the scrutiny and circumstances, I still think Josh Allen is just Josh freaking Allen. Like,
yep.
And if he found a way to, pull this off, like, it would be very disappointing. It would not be like, oh my God, like, we should just like, I don't know, like cancel ourselves as a team that was so embarrassed. It's like, it's Josh Allen. Like,
it's always like that with Tom Brady. Well, we may as well just give up.
Right.
It's Tom Brady.
Exactly. So like, I like this though. The opportunity, I think this is a winnable game. And on top of that, if you're able to win it and you beat Josh Allen, I think the confidence of the team is like, okay, we're a game away from the Super Bowl. And at that point, it's like, I don't care about Denver winning the Super Bowl this year right now. I just think it would be really cool if they go. Like, I just think it would be cool for 2 weeks for everyone to have to talk about Bo Nix and the Broncos and like, get to live in that 2 weeks of like, we're one of the two. And what if it's Broncos Bears? Like, that could still happen. Like, we're 2
Crafty
weeks
said
away.
it. Yep.
We're 2 weeks away from the Broncos and Bears. And
oh my God,
that dude, like,
oh my God.
And that is like still like, I would feel good about winning that one. And there's like, there's other matchups in the NFC, like Seahawks. I don't love it. You know?
Yeah.
Rams, don't love it. But you know what? I would still take Denver. Like Seattle, I would. Oh, let me ask you, if there's one team remaining that you wouldn't want to play if the Bears made it to the Super Bowl, who would that team be in the AFC, I guess?
It would, honestly, it would probably be the Bills. I think it would be the Bills because it's almost as if it's like fate.
Mm-hmm.
The
last
Josh Allen
in their stadium.
Exactly. And then James Cook has this amazing season. They have all these injuries in the playoffs. Gabe Davis is out. They don't have Stephon Diggs. Blah 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 blah. It's just it would feel like one of those, like the NFL gods are like, here you go, Josh. And
that's similar to how I'd feel about the Bears if they beat the Rams. Like,
yeah,
that kind of like, okay, is this just like supposed to happen? Is this just one of those years? But
same, yeah.
If we beat the Bills and met in the Super Bowl, that would be interesting because it would feel like two teams that were destined to win it.
Very true, because not only do you throw in the fact that the Bears are the cardiac Bears, the Broncos went on an 11-game win streak, but both of these teams, the Bears and the Broncos, have quarterbacks from last season's draft.
Mm-hmm.
They have new coaches who are like offensive wizards. The defense is very much on the opposite spectrum, but it still would feel that way. Like, because of where the Broncos have been and where the Bears have been to get to this point at the same exact time, it's also fate because of this podcast.
and I don't know, like, that everyone calls the Bears the cardiac Bears, which is like a good thing and it's a bad thing, because it's like it's a bad thing because it means like they can never just win a game comfortably. I don't know how Denver avoided a nickname, because Bo Nix has 8 comebacks in his first 2 seasons, which is the most in NFL history for a quarterback in their first 2 years. They also have just this season, I think they have 5 fourth quarter comebacks. And so, like, we're doing it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's not like the Bears are doing this thing and like we're like over here like dominating our opponents, not playing close games. No, we play all of our games like the Bears. Like, so
except your defense is way better.
And like, we don't get into like but you know, different opponents, different worlds. And also, like, different opponents call for a different game plan. Like, sometimes Denver goes into games and we're not trying to score 35 points. Like, we wanted the Philly game. Like, we wanted to win that game by like keeping them at 21 and we score like 22, 23.
Yep.
It was never the plan to go out there and, you know, attack. It was like to go out there and have like 3 possessions in the first half only, you know? And sometimes that's the type of game you're in, where I feel like the Bears, their like recipe for victory always comes down to like shooting out, you know, like, we want to win games 38-35. And I think Denver wants to win games
38-13.
Yeah. So it would be interesting, but yeah, man, I love the pick. And the only thing that sucks is if we don't win, I got to like go through the rest of these games. Like, you know, at least
telling
you
me,
get to
dude,
go to the very end, you know, of divisional round without knowing. I would love that.
I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. But if and still, like, I think for me personally, like, what a magical season. Like, I'm not going to be talking like this until it's actually over. But dude, divisional round in Ben Johnson's first season, Caleb's second season, with the dog shit defense that we have, like, amazing. Amazing. But I get what you're saying. I get to watch the 3 games up until mine and just be like nervous all weekend.
And I think our teams are a little different. Like, I feel like if we lost the divisional round, it would be much more disappointing than for the Bears. Just because
I agree.
I think we have like more talent acquired on this team.
Plus the expectation too,
the
with the 1 seed
is historical.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to be what wins championships. It would really be just like Denver played a really bad game. That's what would happen for them to lose, you know? And I think that is different. Like, I feel like the Bears could play like their hearts out and lose. And people would still be like, damn, but like how we feel about the Panthers last week. I think the Bears could like have that type of thing where I think if Denver loses, there's like no scenario where it's like, yeah, but they played their hearts out, you know?
Or I was going to say, even like the Commanders last year, they made it all the way to the NFC Championship game and people were like, wow, you lost in the NFC Championship game and the team you lost to won the Super Bowl. Like, amazing season.
Got killed.
Yeah, but you know,
but still, I mean, that's an amazing feat. So this is it, man. We got there's only how many possible Super Bowl matches?
What is it? 4 possible Super Bowl? No,
well, I think wouldn't there be like 16?
Something like that. Yeah, probably. There's 8 teams, so there's 16 possible Super Bowl matches. Broncos, Bears, Broncos, Rams, Broncos, 49ers, Broncos, Seahawks.
So outside of the Broncos and Bears,
there's like
Yeah, because
32?
you would do 4 to the power of 4, right? Isn't that like 64?
Yes. 4 times 4, 16. 16 times 4 is 64. 64 times. No, there's no way. I think there's like 32 possible matchups or something like that. Either way.
I was thinking like 32. Oh, no,
Yeah.
there's 16. There's 16. And here they are. Bears Texans is this is ranking all possible Super Bowl matches, and I guess ranking them by like how likely they are. So 16 was Bears Texans at plus 3,000. Probably has more to do with the Texans. Bears Broncos. Boo. That's all I gotta say about that. Boo.
That would be so bad for us.
Seahawks, I just wish it was like more like 1 or 2 and not like the least likeliest one. Seahawks Texans at 14. Bears versus Bills coming in at 13.
Oh, God.
Rams versus Broncos at 12. My preseason pick.
Mm-hmm.
Seahawks Broncos 11. 49ers Texans 10th. 49ers Broncos 9.
Oh, that'd be a good one.
Rams Texans 8. 7 49ers Patriots. 6 Seahawks Bills. 5 Seahawks Patriots. 4 Bears Patriots. 3 Rams Bills. 2 49ers Bills. Number 1 Rams Patriots.
Oh, that would be a good one. It's like the end of an era with Stafford, the beginning of one with Drake May.
Yeah, and that was that's all of them. That's weird. I guess there's only 16. That's strange.
No, I think because there was Bears Broncos, there was Bears Patriots, and there was Bears Texans, but there was no Bears Bills, right?
Yeah, there was no Bears Bills.
Yeah, so I think there's more. There's got to be more matchups.
Everything says here's a list of all 6 possible. Oh no, there's got to be more.
Yeah, there's definitely got to be more. Definitely.
But outside of the Bears, and I'll do it for Denver really quick. What would be your favorite Super Bowl if the Bears didn't make it?
Oh God, man. I think it would be really exciting to be that Bears Patriots because Drake May, number 2 pick, Caleb Williams, number 1 pick, and then 2 coaches, one of which who's been a coach before, but 2 coaches in their first year coaching that franchise. I think it'd be freaking sick, dude. I like Vrabel, Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, Drake May, all these like almost enormous odds that these teams have to get there, and it's there. Yeah.
I think I would go Broncos Seahawks for revenge for Super Bowl 48.
I was going to say, yeah. And that's the 2 best defenses in each conference, like going up against each other and like these quarterbacks and weapons going up against each other in San Francisco too. It would be sick.
Last time the Super Bowl was in San Francisco, Super Bowl 50, Broncos won it.
There you go, baby. There you go. Kyle, get off the bus. Who do you have in this game that needs to get off the bus to make an impact?
Bo Nix.
Yep.
Bo Nix is going to need to play his best game. Not ever. Like, we'll save that for maybe the Super Bowl. But he's going to need to get off the bus. He's going to need to be accurate. We've seen games where he's missed his target by a yard or so. Not atrocious stuff, but we've also seen games where he's been dialed in. And the Packers game comes to mind where everybody was like, okay, if that's the version of Bo Nix we get from now on, that this is a team that can win the Super Bowl. Absolutely. I think they're the best team in the NFL when Bo Nix is playing like that. So for that reason, Bo Nix is the one. We don't have a great running game, and that's how you expose the Bills. And J.K. Dobbins went down, so it's on Bo Nix. I got to piss really bad.
Yeah. So Bo Nix is the guy that needs to get off the bus for Kyle. For me, in this game, who needs to get off the bus? And look, he's been an outstanding running back in the regular season. But against Jacksonville, 15 carries, 46 yards with just over 3 yards average with a long run of 11. I'm going with another running back for the second game in a row. Give me James Cook of the Bills to get off the bus to make an impact boo, in this game. James Cook, the running game needs to get going because, look, Josh Allen can do it all. He can absolutely take a game over. But against this defense of the Denver Broncos, you're going to need more than Josh Allen. You're going to need more than one guy to make a difference. That difference is going to be James Cook. Khalil Shakur made a difference, made an impact against Jags last year. No touchdowns, but he had 82 yards, caught all of his targets. But James Cook, only 46 yards in that game against Jacksonville. He needs to make an impact, whether it is on the ground or whether it's catching passes and getting that yak. James Cook, get off the bus. Get off the bus.
Or you can stay on. I don't care.
Kyle would prefer you stay on.
Yeah.
Just keep it warm.
How about this? Just stay at the hotel, because I heard that you're staying at the W connected to the airport. I think it's perfect. You don't even have to, you get your bag and then go straight to the W, check in, and it'll all be over in a day or so.
It'll be fine. You keep the bus warm. Make sure Josh Allen's seat is nice and warm. Sit on it for a bit so when he gets back on it, go back to Buffalo.
That's where the Broncos stay when they are on the road. They stay at the W hotels.
Oh,
which
nice.
Is where I'm working now, and it's like it's a 5-star hotel, but they get like these football players. So I'm like, hey, maybe I'll run into Sean Payton or something, when they come play, hand him a note. I'm willing to do anything to be your mentee.
Anything. Underline caps, anything, Sean. I will do anything. You just got to show up in the pimp hat that Crafty's been talking about, and that Broncos poncho, and I think you'll be set. I think you'll be set with Sean. So all right. Well, those are our predictions. Kyle, you got anything before we get out of here on these games? Anything else?
Shout out to Leo de Greek. I saw Leo in the comments. Also, everybody that was in here, thanks for being in here. Especially if your team's not in it, it's a lot harder to stay dialed in when your team gets eliminated.
Yeah.
I know it's like, man, the Ravens won with the Hail Mary. Like, that was the one year where I was so hurt that I didn't even watch any more playoff games or the Super Bowl. I just left it all.
Dude, I referenced it earlier, but the 2010 season when the Bears went to the NFC Championship and lost against the Packers on a BJ Raji pick six, I was like,
the most unlikely guy to take it back to the house. Like, wasn't he like 350?
He was like 3,000 pounds.
Boston College, if I remember correctly.
That dude was an absolute unit. But just like Kyle said, thank you to everybody. Leo the Greek, Crafty. We had Ricardo in here, which is ironically my name as well. We had Lil E. We had who else was in here? Nick, another fellow Broncos fan, along with Kyle. He was in here. So thank you guys so much for being here. And look, also Nash was here for a little bit, and Kamish, Crooked Kamish, another Bears fan, another fellow Bears fan. So thank you guys so much for being here. Before you leave, please make sure to hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, follow us on X at Only Football Pod and at NFL with Kyle. So you can follow all of our socials there, and make sure to subscribe to this channel. Subscribe to the Kyle Kitzman pod channel on YouTube as well. Follow us. We're going to be here for the Broncos stream on Saturday, the Bears stream on Sunday. And then whatever happens, we will be here for Championship Sunday in a week and a half. And of course, we're going to do the Super Bowl as well. As always, we theme it up. We have a good time for the Super Bowl. We got to think of something for San Francisco. Maybe we'll just sit at an angle, just like that like the fucking slopes that they have there in San Francisco. Yeah, just sit at an angle at all times.
That was good.
Yeah. So yeah, just brought that up.
I was thinking I'll dress as Danny in Full House. Actually, when Bob Saget passed away, it was a really sad day for me because Bob Saget was like my childhood father.
Yeah.
And I always wished that I lived in a house like how Full House is, where like everyone's a team and like we handle our problems. And at the end of the episode, we're friends again. Like, I just loved it. Whatever happened to predictability? Milkman, the Paperboy, evening TV. Were you a Full House watcher?
Not really. I was more on the raunchy side. I was Homer Simpson was my dad, my TV.
Okay, so Homer I was Simpson like was George Lopez in Full House were my like.
Oh, to be fair though, it was like Homer Simpson, Tim Allen on Home Improvement, and
yes.
Bill Cosby.
He was a Broncos fan.
What? Really?
Tim Allen is a diehard Broncos fan, and he had a show before Home Improvement. Did you know that?
No, I had no idea.
Yeah, so he was on Bill Maher has a podcast called Club Random, and he sat down with Bill Maher last week for like an hour and a half. Do you know he went to prison for like 4 years?
Tim Allen?
Yeah.
Oh, was it for the drinking or whatever?
He never said what it was for.
Oh, okay.
But before it was actually after Home Improvement. It was called Last Man Standing.
Was that before Home Improvement or after?
It was after.
Oh, after.
It was
2011
to 2021.
Yeah, that one I do remember actually. Yes, I never watched it, but
I didn't either. And Mary loves it, so like she's always watching it like on her phone while doing dishes and stuff. And she was like so excited to tell me. She was like, she was never into football, but she was like, but she loves Tim Allen, so she was like, I always cheered for the Broncos because Tim Allen, and she was like,
fan. Wow.
Yeah, and he's like a diehard Broncos fan. Like he almost brings it up every episode. Like it's like,
wow, I had no idea. That's insane, dude.
Yeah, dude. And
look at all these things that are just coming full circle. I loved Home Improvement, and he was a Broncos fan. Like this is all literally coming full circle. And
Mary just came out of the dark shadows. Are you talking about Tim Allen?
Hey, did you say Tim Allen?
I like this podcast.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, again, thank you guys so much, everyone, for being here. Again, catch us for the Broncos-Bills game and catch us for the Bears-Rams game this weekend. We got our predictions. If you need to rewind this episode back, rewind. We talk about all our predictions and John Harbaugh being the New York Giants head coach at the very beginning. So thank you guys again so much for being here, Lily, with that comment. It's very normal size, very, very average. But thank you.
Very average if you're a giant.
Oh God, stop, dude. I'm blushing. Thank you guys again so much for being here. We appreciate everybody who's here. Hit that subscribe button. We love it. Become a member, only $2.99 a month. And Kyle. Always a good time, brother.
Broncos country.
The Bears.